to the bunker. Welcome to Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier, and before we get started on the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you're at renegadesofpuck.com, you will learn all of the different things you need to know about the Renegades of Puck, and once you click on that merchandise link, it'll take you right to our online store where you can check out all of the incredible t-shirts that we have, our original logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our special event t-shirts, our new Jam t-shirts that are in the store, and all the famous gimmicks that you know and love the Renegades of Puck for. 55 plus items in our store right now, including socks, throw pillows, wall art, bed sets, everything that you can think of. We've put our logo on it and we've put it up for sale. As a matter of fact, we've sold out so that you can buy in. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you for checking out our merchandise and picking up some Renegades of Puck merch. You can really help out our operation by going to social media and supporting us by giving us likes, clicks, subscriptions, all of those great things. As you can see on the graphic on the screen right now, you can find us on almost every platform out there. When it comes to social media, Facebook, Twitter, of course, you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on TikTok. You can also find us streaming live on Twitch. You can find our podcast in video form on YouTube, and you can find it on audio form on Stitcher, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, and several other outlets. Please subscribe to whichever preferred platform it is that you enjoy listening to your podcast or watching your podcast on, and support the Renegades of Puck. It really doesn't cost you anything, and honestly, it only takes a second to give us a like or a subscription. So please, we continue building all of those up, 185 subscriptions now on YouTube alone. So stick taps, love, and respect to each and every one of you out there for that support. If you'd like to become a partner of the Renegades of Puck, you can do that by going to Venmo and searching Renegades of Puck, or you can just scan the QR code that is currently on your screen. Thanks to generous donations from renegades like you, we have been able to upgrade our equipment, and we continue looking to upgrade our equipment into the future. We're looking to add a new camera and maybe even a second camera and mic position. We are always thinking of ways to upgrade the technology, the equipment, and also to help plan and fund our events. You can help us out with a donation or by just becoming a partner by going to Venmo and giving whatever it is that you can to help support this operation, this independent hockey coverage here from the bunker. Now, it is time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. Time for operation number 668 for the Renegades of Puck. That's right, show number 668. And on this date in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in third place in the Central Division. They have played 6 games, which is 2 more than anyone else in the division at this early time of the season. They have a record of 2-3-1, and they have 5 points. That has them 2 points behind first place Dallas, and that has them tied with second place Colorado at this point, 1 point ahead of the St. Louis Blues. But the Blues have only played 2 games on the season, and they are currently sitting 1 point ahead of the Winnipeg Jets. The Chicago Blackhawks only have 2 points. Coyotes have 2 points, and the Minnesota Wild wrap up the division with only 2 points. Back to the Preds, 1-1-1 on home ice, which is where their next game will take place. They've scored 15 goals in the season. They've given up 21 goals. That's a goal differential of -6. Now, once the Nashville Predators wrap up this next home game against the Philadelphia Flyers, they will have 2 more home games on that homestand. Thursday, they will face off against St. Louis Blues. So from Saturday to Thursday, a nice break in the schedule for the Nashville Predators, who I think could really use it. Even though it's as early as it is in the season, I think the Preds right now could use a little bit of a mental break. The 29th of October, the Nashville Predators close out the homestand against the Washington Capitals, and also the month of October. Then they head out on their classic CMA road trip to begin November. That'll take place on the 1st in Edmonton, the 3rd in Calgary, the 5th in Vancouver, the 8th in Seattle. They'll close out that long road trip on November the 10th in Colorado. So a 10-day road trip for the Nashville Predators. They are used to this as a franchise. They've gone on this road trip every year since the CMA Awards have been at Bridgestone Arena, and that has been for many, many years. Usually it is the road trip where the team gels and comes together, and again, not only do I think they need a break, but I also think they need a long road trip to gel and get some things together. Now back to the Preds and the Flyers. They only have 1 more game in their season series. That won't take place until February the 11th, and the Preds will be in Philadelphia. I won't make a note of the special start time. It's a very early start. We'll obviously talk about that once we get to February. Now for the Philadelphia Flyers, they're off to a great start to the season, 3-1 on the season. They got 6 points and puts them fourth place in the Metro in the early standings. On the road, they are 1-1, 14 goals for, 10 against, the goal differential of +4. Naturally, taking a review of all of the games and scores that they had in the early part of the season. On the 13th of October, they opened up the season with a 5-2 victory versus New Jersey at home. They followed that up on the 15th with a 3-2 victory versus the Vancouver Canucks, also on home ice. The 18th, a 3-2 victory at Tampa Bay, always a tough building to go into. And on the 19th, first loss of the season was 4-3. That came at Florida, and that was on the second night of back-to-backs after defeating Tampa Bay. Their next game after being here in Nashville to face off against the Nashville Predators is Sunday back on home ice versus the San Jose Sharks. Taking a look inside the NHL ranks and numbers between these two teams in this matchup, the Nashville Predators goals for 2.50 per game is 28th in the NHL, and the goal scoring has just simply not been there. For the Philadelphia Flyers, 3.50 is 15th best in the NHL, right there in the middle of the pack. Goals against the Nashville Predators are 17th in the NHL, giving up 3.33 per game, while the Flyers are 8th best in the NHL, only giving up 2.50 per game. Shots for the Preds are 24th, 28.3 per game, while the Flyers are 26th, 28.3 shots on net per game. They are 27th in shots against. The Nashville Predators are 15th in shots against, giving up 32 per game. In special teams, the Nashville Predators right now, their power play is becoming one of the biggest storylines of the early part of the season. 31st rated out of 32 teams in the NHL. Only 1 out of 26 is how the raw data shakes out, or 3.9%. It is simply unacceptable. We'll talk about that a little bit further later on when we get into the analysis. The Flyers' power play is converting at 25% on the season. They're 14th best in the NHL. 4 out of 16 on the season is how that breaks down. On the penalty kill, the Nashville Predators reasonable on the season so far, 84% conversion. 13th in the league, 4 power play goals against the penalty kill for the Philadelphia Flyers. They are 17th in the NHL. They've given up 3 power play goals against, killing off 78.6%. Of course, every team in the NHL has high-skilled individuals, and these two teams are no exception. Let's run down some of the individual numbers and stats for both of these clubs. I'll start with the visiting Philadelphia Flyers. Konecny with 4 goals and 2 assists is 6 points. Also leads in goals and total points. Hayes is at 6 total assists for 6 points. He leads the team, obviously, in assists with 6. Van Riemsdyk, 2 goals and 3 assists for 5 points overall. Tony DeAngelo out on the blue line, a goal and 4 assists for 5 points. Provorov, 4 assists for 4 total points, and in net, Hart's 3-0 on the season, a 9.43 save percentage, and a goals against average of 2. This is going to be a back-to-back situation for the Philadelphia Flyers in Nashville on Saturday, and then back home against the San Jose Sharks on Sunday. So how the goaltenders will be deployed will be up to the coaching staff, but I think the Nashville Predators will probably see Hart in net in this particular game. Taking a look inside the stats for the Nashville Predators, Niederreiter leads the team in scoring, as he has done since the opening night of the season. 4 goals and 1 assist for 5 points. Mikael Granlund has 5 assists and 5 points total. Ryan Johansson, 2 goals and 2 assists for 4 points. Tanner Jeannot, 2 goals and 1 assist for 3 points. And Philip Forsberg has 2 goals and 1 assist for 3 points. In net, UC Saros has a record of 1-2-1, save percentage of .897, and a goals against average of 3. Those are borderline NHL numbers, and we have chronicled it over the years and throughout UC Saros' entire career. He has early season struggles. Last year was the exception in his career, it is seeming, because October so far has not been very good to UC Saros, nor to the Nashville Predators, period. We'll have a whole lot of analysis and in-depth look after we do the full game recap coming up here in just a moment. It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Please check out their work, rebirthsports.com, or on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just sent off an order to Rebirth Sports, and I am so incredibly happy that so many Renegades of Puck are going to be getting their brand new jerseys and their hoodies coming up here in a couple of weeks. We'll be showing you the pictures right here on Renegades of Puck TV, and we're always excited this time of year when people are getting their new merchandise. You see me wearing the home jersey right now. You've seen the road jersey, the third jersey, and you'll soon be seeing me wearing the hoodie here in the bunker. We're incredibly proud to be partners with Rebirth Sports. They take my visions and they make them reality. They are not hockey. They are hockey tailors. They're not just jersey makers. That is for sure. And every rink I go to, people are always asking me where I got the threads that I'm skating in, and it's from Rebirth Sports. You'll have ways that you can get yours too. We'll have another sale coming up here in several weeks, probably at the start of the new year. So please stay tuned for that. RebirthSports.com is though how you can check out their work. For now, this is the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back to 10 19 of the year 2022, and the Nashville Predators were taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. I got that date wrong, I think. Isn't it like the 20th? I think it was the 20th. John Hines deploys his lines as following. And believe me, my getting a date wrong and making some screw-ups is a lot better than what you're about to hear about. John Hines deploys his lines the following way. Forsberg, Granlund, Shane Niederreiter, Johansson, and Tolvanen, Trennan, Sissons, and Janot, Cole, Smith, Glass, and Sherwood make up your fourth line, so Sherwood gets an opportunity to get back in the lineup. Yossi and Fabro, McDonough and Ekholm, Borowiecki, and Carrier are your defensive pairings, and Lankinen gets the start in net. Good job by the coaching staff getting Lankinen a second start early in the season. We're a minute and 41 seconds into the screen, and I had to figure that out by going to the official box score because the TV broadcast did not have any graphics on the screen for the first several minutes of the game. Lankinen comes up with a save on Bean. It's the first shot of goal on the game. At 3:16 of the first period, Janot's got his second goal of the season, giving the Nashville Predators a 1-0 lead over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Rebound jam after a nice rush by the Herd line. Great job by Tanner Janot converting for his second consecutive game. 5:46 of the first period, peaks off to the box. 2 minutes for interference, putting the Nashville Predators on a power play. Only one shot on goal in total, just too much to the outside. All of the lanes and all of the shots attempts were being blocked easily by the penalty kill. At 10:54, though, the Nashville Predators, by Ryan Johansson getting his second goal of the season, take a 2-0 lead over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Rebound jam with the backhand after he knocked down the aerial pass to himself. He was then able to get and corral the loose puck and put it in the net with the backhand. Sweet hands around the net right here. Ryan Johansson on the board. The Preds have a 2-0 lead on the road and are looking incredibly good through the first 11 minutes of this game. 11:47 of the first period, Robinson's off the box. 2 minutes for tripping, but 0 shots on goal for the Nashville Predators on this power play, and it was a mess out there. Turnovers all over the place, bad passes, and simply unacceptable man advantage play. 15:42 of the first period, Lankinen comes up with the save on Nyquist at close range. 16:53, Lankinen back to work with the save on Sillinger. McDonough, good job to help ease things right there, secure the rebound. 18:17, Lankinen save on Boom Jenner from the circle. At 19:52, Goodbranson's up to the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Forsberg stepped on his stick and heads on down to the ice. Maybe a little bit of a sell, but the Preds get the power play, but that's not going to make any damn difference. We at the end of the first period, the Preds have a 2-goal lead. Columbus is out shooting Nashville 10-9. A carryover on the power play for the Preds of 152, but they would only generate one shot on goal, and it simply wasn't very good. Clean sheet of ice. You expect a little bit more effort and a little bit more energy on that power play, and it simply wasn't there. At the 2-minute mark of the second period, Merzlikins comes up with a save on Tolvanen's backdoor redirect. This was an incredible save with the pad of 4:29 of the second period. It appears that the captain, Roman Josi, puts the puck into the net. It was a 2-on-1, and he does the look off for Forsberg and then takes a perfect shot, beating Merzlikins. It was challenged for offsides, and when you get the wide shot of it, you can see Forsberg is clearly offsides. The goal is overturned. We go back to the game being 2-0 at 4:29. The second period, of 5:03 of the second period, Borowiecki's off to the box. 2 minutes for slashing. Strong pressure by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Power play. Lankinen is able to hold the line and is solid. 7:35 of the second period, Lankinen comes up with a save on Jenner with the blocker at the back door off of the rush. 13:48, Lankinen, another save, this time with the shoulder at the post, plus the rebound during a major scramble right in front. 14:09, Janot's off to the box. 2 minutes for interference. Lankinen comes up with a save on Danforth on the continuation while we're waiting for the touch-up and the whistle. Bean is able to score his first goal. It was on the continuation just as the power play expired. It was a wrist shot with layers of screens by both the offense and the defense. It makes no difference. Columbus is on the board. Nashville holds a 2-1 lead in the second period. 17:38. Trennan, though, gets on the board first of the season, giving Nashville Predators back their 2-goal lead, now making it 3-1. It was a wrist shot from the half wall. It caught Merzlikins off guard, and it was a highly accurate wrist shot from the angle, and Trennan puts the Nashville Predators back up by 2, 3-1 in the second period. 18:02 of the second, Lankinen comes up with a save on Jenner on the doorstop. 18:26, peaks off to the box. 2 minutes for holding. Lankinen has to come up with a save on the back post on a shorthanded 2-on-1 as the Nashville Predators power play continues to fail out there on the ice. We hit the intermission with Columbus now out shooting Nashville 25-18 in this game. A carryover of 27 seconds on the power play for the Nashville Predators to start the clean sheet of the third period. You already know they didn't do anything with it. At the 38-second mark of the third period, Gaudreau's third goal of the season comes off of a breakaway. He comes off the bench on the change, and he's immediately on a breakaway, and he's beating Lankinen with the wrist shot snipe. And now the Nashville Predators only hold a one-goal lead, up 3-2 early in the third period. 3:56 of the third period. Bean is off to the box, 2 minutes for holding. Then Duchesne again. Another game where Matt Duchesne picks up a penalty while the Preds are on a power play. He's off to the box, 2 minutes for slashing. It's a 4-on-4 for 131. And then there's a 2-on-1 short-handed rush against the Nashville Predators is when Duchesne took the slashing penalty. So again, another shorthanded scoring opportunity against the Preds. 5-on-4 power play for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Gaudreau comes up with a good shot off of the faceoff, but is stopped by Lankinen. Columbus Blue Jackets are controlling everything at the middle point of the period, and I made a note that the Nashville Predators' chance of holding the lead is decreasing by every second in this period. Columbus is just putting on a clinic out there on home ice. 12:07 of the third period. Danforth's second goal of the game does, in fact, tie the game up at 3 apiece. He goes around and through Carrier and beats Lankinen. He absolutely made Alex Carrier look very silly on this play. The shots on goal at this point in the third period are 12-3 in favor of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we have a tie game at 3-3. I flipped things over, hoping things are going to get better, and find out at 17:02. Merzlikins comes up with a save on McDonough, plus the jam by Sherwood. Nashville Predators finally answering back a little bit, but at 18:37, it's Blankenberg's first goal of the season. It gives Columbus their first lead of the game, 4-3. Now is an easy finish from the low circle for the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Nashville Predators were unable to contain here at the end of the game. We go to the empty net scenario. 19:15, Gaudreau puts the puck into the empty net for his fourth goal on the season, and the Columbus Blue Jackets to beat the Nashville Predators 5-3 on home ice, outshooting the Preds 42-26. 2 games in a row now, the Nashville Predators have had a 3-1 lead going into the third period, and they are apparently trying to find new and spectacular and depressing ways to blow multiple goal leads in the third period. They hung Kevin Lankinen out to dry in the second and the third period and simply did not put up a good enough performance. You could tell, and it was obvious to anyone watching that game, the Columbus Blue Jackets took over that game, took control of that game, and they were going to win that game. It was incredibly obvious to anyone who was tuning in to watch it. Full analysis, breakdown of the Renegades of Puck, all coming up momentarily. Lankinen was 37 out of 41 in this game. He faced 31 shots in the final 40 minutes of the game, and he was under siege. Listen, he played an incredibly good hockey game, and for quite a stretch of time was keeping the Nashville Predators in this game. And if they had managed to survive and even get a single point, it would have been due strictly to the work done in net by Lankinen. Wish Nostradamus was here to talk about it, but really, there's nothing to talk about. It's the second game in a row where the starting goaltender for the Nashville Predators got hung out to dry by the team in front of him. So we're just going to move on and end the goaltending analysis right there. Do want to tell you about a great partner to the show here, Strong Style Fitness. Please check out Strong Style Fitness by going to strongstylefit.com, or you can check out the YouTube page for Strong Style Fitness. 150 workouts there uploaded for you completely free from a certified personal trainer. Tracy does an incredible job of helping you through your fitness journey, whether it is your first step off of the couch or you've been at it for years. No matter what kind of workout you're looking for, she's got one for you, and she's got it set up completely for free. With how expensive everything in the world is today, having a personal trainer that's in your corner that not only cares but is willing to provide their work to you simply to help get you healthier. That is exactly what Strong Style Fitness does, and they're an incredible partner to the Renegades of Puck. Please check them out today. You can find them on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and also Facebook. Now let's give you some analysis from this game. I can pick out at least one positive. The herd line in this game did pick up 2 goals and 4 assists. They did have 6 points, but I can also give you a negative from the herd line tonight. This line is a known physical reputation, and only 2 hits in this game against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Simply, that's not good enough. Yes, of course, I'll take the 2 goals, the 4 assists, and the 6 total points between the 3 players on the third line on any given night throughout the season, but they need to bring their physical identity to the lineup, and it was not there tonight. Johansson and Niederreiter, the pairing is absolutely working. Tolvanen, I think, being added to that line now, maybe them staying together permanently, is going to help all three of them. But I do still absolutely think Johansson and Niederreiter are working as a pair and as a second line. Just the offense in general, in total, just is not really getting going. But Niederreiter's first on the team in scoring, and Johansson is tied for second. They have 9 points between the two of them. So I would say so far, at least through the first 6 games of the season, that pairing is a success. Now, unfortunately, most of the commentary is going to be in the negative category, and deservedly so, and it should be. The D, it stands for dreadful. I was so annoyed I actually took the time to make that note and write that down. So many odd man rushes, just loose play around the net, and soft play in the zone overall. I just mentioned the Herd line not really bringing their physical identity. Well, the physical identity of the D core, the entirety of the Nashville Predators, it's simply not there at this point in time. I saw it one time tonight. Lankinen got a complete snow shower off of a partial breakaway, and nobody even moved in to escort the player out of the crease. Look, I'm not saying you had to go in there and two-hand him, but we all know how hockey is supposed to work. You should go in there and move him away from your goaltender. Lankinen was under siege during this game, and I felt like maybe scrumming it up a little bit more could have slowed things down, but the Nashville Predators simply did not bring that physical element. This team so far has shown a level of softness that none of us could have anticipated going into the season. Is it correctable? 100%. I don't quite understand why they have lost their way and lost their identity. As a matter of fact, that's the next point I made. Where is their identity? I don't know where they lost it. Did they check it in baggage? That's a stupid joke. It's bad hockey, and I'm trying to find a silver lining and be entertaining right now. But where did they lose their identity? Somewhere between the first game and 2 of the season and where we are now after 4 more games. They can find that identity again, of course, but right now, simply they don't have it. They are a lost hockey team out there on the ice, and it's a shame. It's difficult to watch. It's even more difficult to cover. Look at all the notes I'm sitting here taking on what we all know was, frankly, just an abysmal effort overall, top to bottom on this team. And they've got to get their heads straightened out and get their identity back. And the power play, 1 for 26, it's too early in the season to be this bad at anything, and it's too early to be this concerned, and it's too early for me to be getting this mad about any one particular aspect. But this power play absolutely looks like garbage on the ice right now. There's too many high-skilled, high-talented, highly offensively gifted players on that first power play unit for them to be generating 1 shot, 0 shots, and 2 shots at the most on power plays. They're just not getting the job done in any way. And they're not only not getting the job done, they're giving up shorthanded scoring opportunities that are numerous over the course of a game. It is way too early to start being this worried about something, but through 6 games, the power play is just frankly one of the worst stretches of hockey that I've seen from any unit. And I have seen some pretty piss-poor power plays by the Predators over the years. I mean, it's time to get some analysis from Sean C. Smith, okay? Sean C. Smith is probably not going to have much more of a level head than I do, because he certainly recognizes what he's seeing out there, and he's going to tell you the truth about it. So let me kick it over to Sean C. Smith. You can find him on Twitter at SCSNSH. You can watch him at A to Z Sports, of course. You can check him out right here on Renegades of Puck TV and on the Renegades of Puck podcast. I love Sean C. Smith, and I sure do appreciate him jumping in the trenches with this analysis right here.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades. Sean C. Smith going to talk a little bit about what we just saw against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And it was really nice to see that the Predators started off with a nice big lead, and it felt pretty good to play with a lead, and it felt pretty good as a fan to sit and see that the Predators had a lead. But unfortunately, it seems like the Predators aren't used to playing with a lead late and soon, and therefore it seemed like they started kind of creating a lot of opportunities for turnovers that didn't result in good things for the Predators, but did result in good things for the Blue Jackets. And I'll say this, we talked a lot about penalties the other night, 9 penalties on the night, much less penalties tonight with the Blue Jackets, but I don't really think that the penalties were the big issue against Columbus. I want to say that the biggest thing I saw was the shift in momentum, and it seemed like once things shifted toward Columbus's favor, the Predators were not able to get it back. And you can go back and say maybe it was that disallowed Yossi goal, the offsides goal with Forsberg offsides, but Unfortunately, as Hal Gill said on the broadcast on the radio, rules is rules, and that one had to come back. But you know, John Hines went on record a lot last season as saying that you can't get too high, you can't get too low, you got to take the lessons and move on. Well, that is something he usually said after games when the team was winning a lot or when the team had faced some losses. But you also have to think about that in game as well. You can only control what you can control in a game. That goal is disallowed. You can get mad about it and play in a sloppy way, or you can just say, okay, can't control that. Let's make sure it doesn't happen again and play our best. But it seemed like once that happened, things kind of got out of hand. Columbus was allowed to take over the game and didn't end well. And let's be fair. Right now, you're looking at 2 goals from the Herd line, and that's your third line that rhymes, and 1 goal from Ryan Johansson. And at some point, you're going to have to start wondering when the guys that are being paid the big bucks are going to be the guys that are getting the big plays and making those big goals. We talked about this at the beginning of last season. We needed the guys that were making big money to be the big players, and they certainly stepped up last season as they needed to, but it doesn't seem like that's happening yet. So at some point, and it needs to be fairly soon, a fire needs to be lit under some of these guys and say, hey, look, you're the leaders on this team, you're making big bucks, go out and show that you're worth it. And Charlie, that's about all I have. Looks like we've got the Flyers coming up, and on paper they're a bad team, but it looks like right now they're on a hot streak, so the Predators are going to have their work cut out for them if they want to get a win at home against Philadelphia. That's all I got. I'm going to send it back over to you.
The one and only Sean C. Smith at SCSNSH on Twitter. A to Z Sports is where you can find him. Also right here on Renegades of Puck TV on the Renegades of Puck podcast. Sean C. Smith, outstanding, always willing to go to the hard areas and tell you the truth. He's got the intel you need to know. That's why he's in the trenches right here with the Renegades of Puck. One more incredible partner to tell you about, Stripe Digital Solutions. The logo on the wall behind me, the crest you see, renegadesofpuck.com, our social media branding, all of that is done through our incredible digital partner, Stripe Digital Solutions. The way the world works today, if you don't have an incredibly strong digital partner to help you manage everything for your small business, then no one's going to see, hear, or find what you are trying to put out there. If you're trying to sell a product, you need all of these things. If you have a podcast, you have a show, you have an entertainment entity, any of those things, you need a strong digital partner like Stripe Digital Solutions. Please, I encourage you to go to stripedigitalsolutions.com or check them out, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They are great partners, and we could not run this operation on our own without such a great partner in Stripe Digital Solutions. Truly, they make everything go here when it comes to the bunker. All right, we do need to take a quick look at the box score, and yes, there's a little bit more to talk about than the previous couple of games, but still not a lot. Tanner Jeannot with a goal, Ryan Johansson with a goal, and Yakov Trenin all with goals. Over in the assist column, Sissons led the team in assists with 2 in this game. Tanner Jeannot had 1, Nino Niederreiter had 1, Yakov Trenin had 1, and Matthias Ekholm did pick up an assist in this game. When it comes to shots on goal, it was Matt Duchene with 4 on net. You had a couple of other players with 3, Ryan McDonough and Roman Josi, all with 3. Other than that, not a very impressive look when it comes to block shots. Dante Fabro had 3, Roman Josi had 3 in this game. Those are your leaders. When it comes to hits, I expect the Nashville Predators and Columbus Blue Jackets, maybe it's because the rivalry goes back nearly 20 years now, that I expect these two teams to really get after each other when they play each other, and unfortunately I didn't get enough of that in this game. Your hits leader for the game was Cole Smith with 3 in this game, and you had a couple of other players with 2. Nino Niederreiter had 2. He looked good out there in physical. Ryan McDonough had 2, but other than that, I see entirely too many players without a single physical contact and hit on the board, including Mark Borowiecki, who you would anticipate to be a very physical player out there on the ice, but also seeing Glass without a hit, and seeing Sissons without a hit, and seeing Trenin with only 1. That's just simply not good enough when it comes to these particular numbers. Time on ice leaders, of course, you can probably already predict exactly what I'm going to say. Leader in forwards out of time on ice, Mikhail Granlund, 23 minutes skated in this game. There really wasn't anybody else even close to him. It was Forsberg and Duchene at 20 minutes and 3 seconds, 20 minutes and 45 seconds were the only other players over 20 minutes on the forward grouping. And when it comes to the defenseman. Of course, Roman Josi led the team in total time on ice, 26:51 in this game, and that's a dramatic amount of time for the captain, Roman Josi. The Nashville Predators fall in this one in dramatic fashion and give up another 2-goal lead. Brian Baston has some numbers, some analytics, or he's might be just smashing a desk at this point in time. I actually don't know what Brian is submitting for his report right here. You can find him on Twitter at Brian Baston. You can check out his work on theforecheck.com. He's got the numbers you need to know, the charts you need to see, and let's just send it over to Brian.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Well, if you're a little confused and you think that you watched just a rerun of the Los Angeles Kings game from earlier this week, well, you wouldn't be alone, but unfortunately I hate to deliver to you guys the news that, nope, it was a different game even though we had the same outcome. The Predators fell to the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-3 after giving up 4 unanswered goals and basically started off hot, but then just did absolutely nothing for the rest of the game. And since they did so much so badly, we're going to talk about several big stats tonight, so let's get into it. First of all, and I have to come back to this, what did I just talk about? We just talked about this after the LA game, about how the Predators last year were middle of the league in preventing last-minute goals at the end of periods. Well, they went ahead and made a fool of me and made sure that stat got even worse, because now, with this season, the Columbus Blue Jackets added 2 goals at the end of regulation and in the final 3 minutes of each period. So now this year, the total goes up to, in 6 games, they have allowed 6 goals in the final 3 minutes of a period and 4 goals in the final 3 minutes of the game. And that's not even including, there's goals by Jake Bean in the second period that happened 4 minutes with 4 minutes left in the period. The Predators have got to do something about I don't know if it's their conditioning or their stamina or what it is, maybe just discipline, but they have to do something because this team is going soft at the end of periods, and you can see them almost just hoping to finish the period off and get into the locker room. But unfortunately, they're leaving Kevin Lankinen or Juuse Saros out there to weather the storm, and so far it has not been working. Next stat. While shot quality at 5-on-5 was actually pretty good, they average a 8.5% shot quality at 5-on-5. The Nashville Predators have got to do something better with their shot selection. We saw this team in Prague do extremely well attacking the high danger areas, and the first 10 minutes of this game, the Predators actually did pretty well in that category too. But after that, awful, just god awful. Now, let's look at how the Predators did with their shot attempts. So they had, at all strengths tonight, 56 shot attempts to Columbus's 76. Now, of those 56 attempts, 20 of them were blocked by Columbus, and 10 more of them were complete misses that didn't hit the net. That puts the team at about a 46% on target percentage rate, which is just, how many of the shot attempts they take actually made it to be a shot on goal. But that's not all when it comes to shots on goal. Nashville just was kind of abysmal at all strengths. They failed to reach double-digit shots on goal within any period tonight, with 9 in the first and second and just 8 in the final period. Meanwhile, Columbus had 10, 15, and 17 for a grand total of 42 shots on goal at all strengths. I don't know what the Predators are thinking, if they've decided to turtle again, the bygone era of Peter Laviolette giving up leads. But they did that again, and it's not looked good. And moving on to another stat, again related to that one, let's check in on the Predators' power play. So they had 5 power plays, including the one that was ended early by a Matt Duchene penalty, which, stop me if that sounds familiar again. But how did the Predators do as far as shots on the power play? Well, I could sum it up with one thing. just garbage. The Nashville Predators had 2 shots on goal in those 5 power plays, but guess what? The Columbus Blue Jackets penalty kill also had 2 shots on goal during the Nashville power play. Nashville is playing really, really undisciplined hockey. They're not making smart choices, and it's showing up. And it's not just showing up in my fancy stats, it's showing up on the scoreboard. And this has started to become a problem, something we've seen. It's early in the season, just 6 games in, but we've seen it more often than not so far. The Nashville Predators have got to do something. I don't know if it's a lineup shakeup or something else, but something has to be done to prevent this type of stuff. a quick review of some other statistics that I've seen. The Nashville Predators were outdone on almost every statistical category in this game, including Columbus had 16 high danger chances to Nashville's just 8, which again never ever bodes well. They gave up 4.6 expected goals, which means that Kevin Lankinen saved about what he should have. But again, the only reason that happened is because Columbus was able to get so many shots off, and the Predators could just not protect the puck. It felt like every breakout was, would have to restart. Every trip to the neutral zone would return in a bad pass or something like that. It's not what you want to see out of this team. This team is 2-3-1 right now, and it's starting to look like, maybe those games against San Jose were a fluke, because this team is not showing anything, over a sustained period of time that shows that they can consistently win this season. They've allowed too much. They aren't getting to their spots. They're making a ton of mental mistakes, and it doesn't matter who gets plugged into the bottom of the lineup or not. It's not making a difference. And, we talk about rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Yeah, maybe some more lineup shuffling needs to be done, and not just guys on the fourth line. So we're going to see if Nashville and John Hines can regroup, because the somehow undefeated Flyers, the Flyers are coming to town on Saturday, and they are going to, they're going to come back and they're going to attack just as much as every other team has. And they're probably going to look to jump all over this Predators team, who is completely mistake prone and just lacks discipline, for the lack of better words. But I don't want to end this on everything being negative. So let's talk about how Nashville has improved in one area we've talked a lot about, and that's penalties. And the good news is they only took 3 penalties this game, so that's always nice. But they also got out hit 11-28. So, if Nashville can't win this season by being a tough physical forechecking team that gives a lot of hits and takes a lot of penalties, but they also can't win when they're playing it safe, then what is it going to take for this team to win? Because, this is one of those times where the eye test and the stats both agree. And unfortunately, they agree on one thing. This team has looked real bad. And that's tonight's one big stat. Charlie?
He's the one and only Brian Baston. You can check out his work on theforecheck.com. He's got the charts you need to see and the numbers you need to know. I sure do appreciate Brian jumping in the trenches and submitting that report right here on Renegades of Puck TV. Let me tell you about something fun before we close it out with a little bit more negativity and a little bit more bummer hockey talk. The Vegas trip, the trip of a lifetime. It's filling up, and it's filling up quick. Shipsandtripstravel.com. That's who I need you to check out to get all of the details. The Renegades of Puck, New Year's Eve, Las Vegas, Nashville Predators at Vegas Golden Knights, Las Vegas, New Year's Eve after that. It's an incredible opportunity. It is truly the road trip of a lifetime. If you've never had the opportunity to travel and see the Nashville Predators in another city, you definitely want to take this as an opportunity. It just coinciding with New Year's Eve and the Vegas Golden Knights, it is just a perfect opportunity. And listen, the seats are filling up, so get your reservation. It's the perfect gift for the Christmas, for holidays, for birthdays coming up, or just, for that person that's a hockey fanatic in your life and you want to go out to Vegas and have a good time with the Renegades of Puck. Shipsandtripstravel.com. We're filling things up quickly. It is the road trip of a lifetime to Las Vegas to watch the Nashville Predators take on the Golden Knights on New Year's Eve and welcome in a brand new year. We've got a pretty good track record of throwing events on New Year's Eve. After all, many of you were at Behind Enemy Lines in Dallas the night before the Winter Classic. We hope to have just as many of you on the trip to Las Vegas. We don't have that many seats. We really don't, but we sure would love to fill them up as quickly as possible, and that way we can start telling you about our next huge event and huge plans. Now, let's get back to the bummer talk right here, and it's simple. This team has a problem. They are lost, and it is early, but it is concerning. After the first 2 games, they played one of the worst teams in the Western Conference from the previous season. The San Jose Sharks finished outside the playoff margin and is simply not expected to be a competitive team this year, as they are mostly still trying to figure out what kind of rebuild that they are in. But the Preds beating San Jose Sharks in the first 2 games of the season certainly was a good look. Coming back home now, the Nashville Predators have frankly been abysmal since they have been home. They have blown multiple 2-goal leads in the third period already this early in the season. Last year, they went the entire season only blowing 2-goal leads twice in the third period. So The Nashville Predators clearly are off to a very, very troubling start. There is every opportunity to turn things around and get going in the right direction for the Nashville Predators. Something I see that is beneficiary is after the next game, they do have a break in the schedule. Whatever it is, mental fatigue from the long road trip, physical fatigue from the long road trip and camp, whatever the fog is right now that is clouding this Nashville Predators team, they will have a couple of days between the next home game against the Flyers and the game after that against the St. Louis Blues to go ahead and hopefully get that cleared up. And then after this homestand, they will be heading off on that CMA road trip, which is a customary time that the team gets its shit together. They may have to do that very thing on this long road trip because right now, again, the note I made, they have a problem and it is a concern, but it's early enough in the season that things can easily be turned around. And we know that the Nashville Predators have been a playoff team the last couple of years, and that when John Hines starts preaching that word identity and the team starts buying into that word identity, they usually start playing a whole lot better. But right now, they're not looking like that team in any way, shape, or form. The physical play is missing. The heavy physical play is missing. The willingness to pay the price and sacrifice and go to the hard areas, it's simply not being shown. Barry Trotz used to talk about there being too many passengers. Maybe it's time to bring that phrase back into the conversation. Right now, the Nashville Predators are just simply not physically, mentally, and spiritually bought in to this season. They can get there. They just don't have a lot of room to wait and a lot of time. So hopefully that will start to turn around here very soon. I sure do appreciate each and every one of you jumping into the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. Remember, new episodes 7 a.m. after games, and we sure do appreciate everybody who has been checking those replays out. We've been catching over 100 replays on episodes so far this season, and that is thanks in large part to the 185 subscribers and all of our great social media friends who have been sharing and passing the links around. Stick taps, love, and respect. It means the world to see this operation starting to take off, and for those of you who have been with me for so long as part of the radio show, and of course for over a year now in the new podcast format, it has been a tremendous delight to continue coming out here and working and continuing to grow and continuing to build one Renegade at a time. We can achieve everything we are trying to achieve. We just have to continue doing exactly what we have been doing, which is bringing you honest, truthful coverage, analysis, opinions, funny memes, entertainment, and we will continue doing it better and better all the time, and we will continue doing it more often than anyone else does. That's why this is episode number 668. We're willing to get into the trenches and do one of these episodes for each and every game of the season. So please check us out, make it your appointment, and please subscribe, like, and do all of the things that we need to help continue growing this business, this brand, and this operation to where we all want it to be. The No Half Steppin' movement is well underway, and by the way, I appreciate each and every one of you for checking out our Halloween spectacular. We weren't going to let episode 666 go without doing something fun. Check it out if you haven't already seen it on our YouTube page. I'm your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier for each and every one of the Renegades of Puck. Stick taps, love, and respect.